back to the advice, back to unsolicited advice with Jami. I will never do that again, I'm so sorry. Okay. Hi guys, so this week I'm coming back at you with a advice Q&A, which I'm really excited about. So I asked a bunch of you on my Instagram to submit your questions if you wanted advice about something, because all of my best friends and my family will tell you I am a professional at giving unsolicited advice. Since you guys asked, or I asked you if you wanted to ask, I'm gonna give you my unsolicited advice. Oh my god, this is amazing. Okay. The first question here is, how do you feel good enough when everyone else is doing so much better? And then everyone else's questions are like, hi, how do I feel good enough when everyone else is doing so much better? So everyone feels the same way. I think that's just a universal human sort of feeling. Okay, sorry, I had to fix my hair, guys. I do feel like that's just part of the human experience. I always constantly feel like everyone else is on a pedestal and everyone is farther ahead, and I've always felt behind. And so first of all, just understanding you're not alone in that at all. I know it's really easy to log on to Instagram and see a bunch of people living their best lives and staring at your phone being like, what am I doing staring at my phone? Even as somebody who posts pictures of herself looking like I'm living the most phenomenal life ever, I'm still that person that's staring at her phone being like, what the hell am I doing staring at my phone? As much as other people's lives may look glamorous, you have to remember that you are looking at truly a highlight reel. So no one is really posting on their phone when they're bored because they're just scrolling through to see what else other people are doing because they're bored. I see more people being real and honest, but I think it took us a while to get there, and I still feel like people are, for the most part, sharing the best moments of their lives on social media. And if you do find yourself really struggling with comparing, maybe don't watch people's stories or something that make you feel bad if you're comparing yourself to a specific person. I'm not just talking about influencers, I'm talking about even girls maybe that are in your friend group where they're constantly posting together. I can imagine how hard it is for girls in high school and in college now with how social media is, seeing constantly what other people are doing. I think just limiting yourself and not making that information so accessible to yourself. Comparing yourself only to a past version of yourself is the healthiest thing you can do. Focus on improving you and not living up to other people's standards, and you will honestly be happier, I promise you. I have to continue learning every single day. It's not a piece of knowledge that you're just like, oh yeah, that makes sense. It's something that we have to actively work on every day. That was a really roundabout, extended answer to a simple question. How to deal with failure. So much on this. First of all, I am a self-help fiend. I love listening to self-help books on Audible all of the time. This is part of what I mean by actively doing the work. I constantly have to keep reminding myself how to be healthy by listening to self-help books on Audible about how to be healthy. The most successful people, every single one of them has dealt with failure. You are not going to be extraordinary unless you failed. There's so many failures that I've made in blogging. There are so many times in class where I failed at a scene, but it just pushed me to work even harder and come back the next week and nail the next week's scene. If you see failure as an opportunity to grow and learn, then I think that that's how you make failure really worthwhile. Acting, more about agencies and auditions. So this is actually such a good question, and I really want to do a video with my friend Natalie on this because there's so much that I didn't know when I first started acting, and I feel like I could have just easily used some guidebook because I didn't even understand how people got auditions. I just didn't know anything. So if you guys want a whole separate Q&A for acting and industry questions, I would be more than happy to do that for you. I think that that would be really interesting, especially for people starting out. If you want to know the basics, I highly recommend getting The Actor's Life by Jenna Fisher, and it answers the questions that you might feel stupid asking, so I highly recommend getting it. Advice on body image. I could do a full video on body image as well. I've struggled with body image pretty much my whole life, especially around my stomach. I didn't realize, but it definitely got more intense in LA, just being around a lot of people in the industry and models, and I didn't realize how much it was actually getting to me. Now I'm probably in the healthiest place that I have been in a while, probably just due to age and growing up and being okay, this is my body, it's not changing. I did an open dialogue about it on stories. It's saved to a highlight actually, so you can watch it there if you need. Here's what I'm realizing after being at home in Chicago. When I allow myself to eat what I want and satisfy my cravings, I obsess a little bit less and I don't find myself reaching for food to overcompensate for what I'm restricting. If I just let myself have the cheese in a salad, I won't be eating the salad and then on top of that going and eating like 5 bowls of popcorn to like make up for the lack of flavor in the salad. I just think that not thinking about it and letting my body have what it wants is really important, while also keeping in mind portion. So not eating past the point of being full, just filling my body with the things that it needs to be full of, and finding a way to sort of let go of the constant thought of food throughout the day. And I also think that it's life-changing to have a workout routine. If I'm working out every single day and I know that I am putting my best foot forward and doing everything I can to have a healthy body and try and make my body stronger, then I'm happy. I don't even care about the shape. If I know that I'm working hard, that makes me happier than having a perfect body. How to make friends with other people on Instagram. So some of my best friends, as I'm sure you guys know, are from Instagram. I recommend sliding into some other girls' DMs on Instagram that have a similar aesthetic to you, or maybe are another blogger in your area, or you really like their feed, you're inspired by them, they maybe have a similar following as you, and they're sort of at that same stage in their career. Definitely don't be afraid to reach out and be like, hey girl, you wanna shoot together? The way that Lexi Mars and I met was her sliding into my DMs and blast from the past, friending me on Facebook. And I saw that she was from the suburbs of Illinois, which is where I'm from, and that she basically was like, hey, like my hairstylist is the same as yours, and she said you love shooting in LA, and I'm moving there and I would love to shoot with you. And I was like, hell yeah, girl, let's do it. And now we're Lexi and Jami. I know Emma and Nitz met on Instagram. Mina, I think, DM'd me when she was still living in Japan, and that's how we met. So I've met so many girls through Instagram, just either by like commenting on their photos or maybe replying to their stories. Okay, how to make quality friendships. Okay, so I actually really pride myself on this because I think that friendships are something that I've been pretty good at throughout my life. I've always had really, really strong friendships. So I'm still really good friends with a lot of my best friends from high school and middle school, and even some from elementary school, which is crazy. I'm just somebody who, when it comes to friendships, I'm very much so like, we are like ride or die from the get-go, or it's not gonna work. And I put a lot of stock in my friendships, and so I think that that's how I can kind of gauge whether or not it's gonna be a successful friendship. Like the same way that it goes for relationships, I think you can go for friendships. I feel like when you really connect with somebody immediately and you have a good gut feeling about it, it's probably a really good friendship. I also think like quality friendships are friendships that are willing to admit when either of you is wrong and willing to hear each other out and communicate when you have disagreements. My strongest friendships are ones where we have fucked up a lot with each other and we have been able to confront each other, be honest with each other, and also honor the other person's feelings. That's the most important thing, is like having people that really speak the same language as you, because I know when I'm talking in like therapy terms, we all know how to respond to each other in a healthy way. I know I expect a lot from friendships because I'm willing to give a lot. And so I'm like kind of the type of person that'll like drop everything if you need me, and I think I do a good job at finding those people that are the same towards me. I'm not saying that that needs to happen all the time, but I think just finding people that really are reciprocal with how much you're putting in. Reciprocity is really important. You got to be able to show up for your friends the same way that you expect them to show up for you. When you're looking for friendships, don't go for quantity over quality. It's all about finding people, for me, that are gonna be there for the long haul. And I will say, all of my best friendships make me feel closer to my childhood. I don't want to say that because I know not everyone has had like a great childhood. So what I mean by that is like they make me feel closer to my inner child, my truest, most beautiful version of myself, as Glennon Doyle would probably say. It's like I like who I am when I'm around them. How to be unapologetically yourself. Start reading The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Start reading You Are a Badass. Start reading Untamed by Glennon Doyle. Start flooding your brain with a lot of healthy self-help advice. That's how I do it. I think also too, understanding that you're not going to be perfectly unapologetically yourself. You're definitely going to be trying to impress people at times or whatever. You're gonna be human, but being unapologetically yourself, I think, to me, is really coming at things from a standpoint of, do I like this person? Do I like this experience? Rather than, how can I be likable to this person? How do I make this person like me? Maybe showing the parts of yourself that are uncool. I feel like for the first like 2 years on Instagram, I only wanted to show glam girl, cool girl Jami. But when I started actually posting like my goofy self on stories and me with no makeup and stuff like that, it was way more relatable and it was just more me, and it made me feel better because I felt more connected, both to my audience and myself, most importantly. When you feel most connected to yourself, that's when you invite other people to also connect to you. How to get through a breakup. Whew. Okay, as somebody who just went through this, I would recommend a lot of things. I think that the most important thing is really time. I also think finding a therapist, talking to somebody throughout the entire experience, having a safe space to kind of say all of my thoughts and feelings and sort of work them out with another third party that was objective was really helpful. I also recommend journaling, because a lot of times our minds are so, and our emotions are so scatterbrained. When I write down everything I'm feeling, all of a sudden my thoughts start to make sense on paper. That's almost like a therapy session in and of itself. And focusing on yourself and your beautiful friendships and your family and doing things now for you that make you really happy. I have spent more time at my parents' home in Chicago than I ever thought I would, because it's really making me happy and teaching me to take a step back. I think it's the best time after a breakup is to use all of that energy that you put in another person and use it towards building your life and your dreams. Again, like, read a lot of self-help books, just saying. I'm gonna do one more because my camera is dying again. So a lot of you had questions like on this, advice on how to transition from a 9-to-5 to blogging for this career, for any sort of career that you are your own boss. I think it's really important to believe in the unseen. I think that you kind of need to already be preparing to be your own boss and to be a full-time blogger or be a full-time entrepreneur, whatever it is that you see yourself doing. Start planning for it now. So any time that you have off from your 9-to-5, use that time, even though it's supposed to be like your downtime or your relaxing time, use that time to start building your other jobs. So for a while, you kind of had to commit to 2 full-time jobs, because pursuing being an entrepreneur is a full-time job. Just like auditioning when you want to be an actor is a full-time job. Okay, so that is it. I love you guys so much. My camera's gonna die. I love you, I love you, I love you. Let's do this next week because I love giving unsolicited advice, and I'll see you on next week's video.